Hey, everybody. Happy Wednesday, wherever you're tuning in from, LinkedIn, YouTube, America, Europe, everywhere. Happy to see you. And today we're going to be talking about mistakes that you may be making that are losing you sales. They're costing you sales. And so these are the ones that probably aren't so obvious. That's why I said they're hidden reasons. So you guys ready to listen to some of that today? Who doesn't want more sales, right? It's super important for your brand. So happy that that you guys tuning in. And if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. So the first reason that your leads may not be buying from you is because it's not clear what you sell. And what that means is that you're giving out maybe mixed messages to people. This is actually a big problem is when I come to your brand and I see multiple websites with like completely different URLs and then, different descriptions about what you're offering that really don't sync up. And then maybe in your content, you're giving mixed messages as well. One week you're talking about HR leadership, and the next week you're talking about NFTs and asking people to reach out to you for that. And the truth is, you want to stay in your lane, because if you want to become known as a thought leader, you have to pick a niche. And that doesn't mean you can't ever talk about various topics, but be really specific about what you do and make sure that whenever I come, you become the go-to person for that. All right. And that has to be in your profile, in your content, in your interactions. And also, another thing where brand confusion could come in is if you are partnering with different people and the people you're partnering with, it's very confusing how that relates to your brand. So it doesn't look like a good alignment. And then I get confused. I'm like, why are they talking about this? And so in the end, it really can confuse a lot of people. So here's some scenarios where that happens. Let's say that you are a sales leader, but you're also an athlete, and you end up posting all the time selfies of yourself working out. And you're like, I got this. I'm running the extra mile. Look at me. I'm at the gym. I'm weightlifting. And I actually see this happening. It's kind of crazy, but I see this happening on LinkedIn, especially. And I love athletes. But if I don't know you, think about how that looks for somebody who's looking to hire a sales coach or, bring somebody in for their team. But if they come and they only see this all the time, they're going to think that that's what you do. And then later on, when you come and you try to pitch yourself as a sales expert, they're going to be like, well, it looks like you aren't a sales expert because all you do is work out all day long. And I thought you were some kind of a health coach, a fitness coach, a personal trainer. So that's a big mistake. It's just confusing people about what you do. So if you're going to post those kind of posts, make sure that it's no more than 30% of your content. So 70% has to be all about what you do in some way or form. I even turn my weekends into related to time off, how good it is to be a business owner. Look, I'm enjoying my time off because being a business owner means you have so much more time freedom to spend with your family or spend how you want. So think about that. The second hidden reason why people aren't buying from you is because you haven't positioned the relationship in such a way that buying would be the next logical step. And what I mean by that is there's something that is called like a sales ladder, right? You're climbing the ladder, building the relationship with somebody, and you're prepping them to sell to them. And if you don't do that, and the person would never guess that you're going to try to sell them something, so it's not obvious. So maybe you're sitting back and you're like, well, I'm so frustrated. I've been spending all this time nurturing this lead and they haven't bought anything. And I see this a lot because I'm a business coach. So I have people come and say that exact phrase. And the two questions I ask are, well, first of all, I said, have you positioned them for the sale? And then I explain what that means. So, first scenario is you haven't told them anything. You haven't made them any kind of offers, and you're just waiting for them. And you're really like, I don't know why they're not buying. Well, they're not buying because you haven't made them any offers. So they just aren't expecting that. Or the other scenario is the whole time that you've been prepping them, you've been doing it the wrong way. And what you've been doing is you've just been talking about your personal life, the weather, friendships. You're talking about anything except the thing you should be talking about, right? And then when you do somehow make them an offer, they're like, whoa, you've been giving me mixed signals because you have not positioned this conversation for a sale. And so you can't just do a bait switch kind of thing with people. um, you have to be really cautious about that. All right. And it also feels kind of like betrayal, because if you've been like friendly with me, I love it. But then if just it feels like out of the blue, you're like, oh, by the way, I'm having this sale. Would you like to buy it? Um, it doesn't feel very good. All right. So how do you position someone for a sale is something we could talk about. I could do a whole nother video. So if you want me to do that, drop me a comment, or if you're watching the replay, uh, say something like positioning, and I will produce a whole nother video, because it would literally take me that long to kind of walk you through the steps of how you should position someone, prep them for selling to them. Um, I have another video that's called How to Get Clients Out of the Friend Zone, or Leads Out of the Friend Zone, that goes over that as well. So, but that is a big mistake, is just not giving them the right cues to get them into the mode of, hey, I might actually work with this person. So that's mistake number two that you might not be thinking you're doing, but you are. And that just means you don't know how to sell to somebody. And you need a little bit of training, a little bit of advice to find that path, right? Mistake number three, what are you doing with your leads? Is you aren't prepping your offers well enough so that you know that this is something that this person would love. All right. And what do I mean by prepping? I mean doing your research. How do you think we put offers together, right? I don't just go off and say, hey, I'm going to put together a course about business or a course about social selling, and come back and like try to sell it to you, right? What I do is I spend a lot of time doing social listening, um, both directly by asking people questions, by working with people one on one, by delivering workshops and getting a lot of feedback and a lot of questions to help them further, and also by looking online what people are talking about related to my topics, that I teach. And when I see all those questions, I'm taking notes, and I'm like, okay, I see how these people are seeing this. And oh, so I'm like always learning, because when you become an expert in your field, you develop some kind of amnesia, which means it's really hard to put yourself in your customer's shoes because you already know the answer. And I'm like, can you take yourself back to the moment where you didn't know the answer? And usually I'm working with very experienced people who have like 10 plus years in their field. who are executives or manager level, and it's really hard for them to remember. It's almost like saying, do you remember when you were a child, you felt this way, even though now you know that wasn't the way it was? And it feels unnatural. So, even better is spend all your time talking to your customers, talking to your ideal customer avatar, and gather up all this information so that then you use that to prepare the right offers. All right. Um, so that's a mistake I see that's really common. People seem to think it's normal to go off and build a course, or, oh, I'm working on this group training program. And I'm like, that's a red flag. You should be working with your customer, with your audience, and saying, if I put together a group training program, what do you want to see in it? What would help you more? What are the problems regarding, building a business that you really struggle with, that you wish there was some better training for? You cleaned it? Okay. Okay, brush your teeth, Ivy. Okay. Sorry, I got my toddler here. So that was mistake number 3. All right. So mistake number 4 is regarding to your pricing. So we talk about pitch slapping people, which means introducing yourself to someone and then trying to sell to them immediately, which is a huge turnoff. I've done so many polls just to prove over and over again how much people hate that. And unfortunately, there are still salespeople teaching others to do that. And I mean, what can I say, right? It's not a good method. So I take a whole different approach. And I think the same goes with your pricing. So I don't like playing cat and mouse game. I like to be really transparent with my pricing. And I recently put out a poll on LinkedIn asking my audience of almost 70,000 followers, what do you guys think? Do you like when a person is just upfront about their pricing, or do you think it's kind of normal to go through a little bit of loops to find out? And of course, the majority said, please just tell us the price. All right. So for me, it's very transparent. I've got all my pricing pretty much out there. And hey, DJ, nice to see you. Thanks for stopping by. You come at the right time. We're talking about money. That's always a good topic, right? So price transparency. So this is a hidden reason why they don't buy, is because you haven't been transparent with your pricing. And here's the truth. It's exactly like pitch slapping someone. People kind of hold their breath and they're like, I don't know if I can afford this person. And then you're like, oh, it's going to be, it's going to be $50,000. And you have no idea what that means for this person. So this is a mistake. This is why people don't buy, is because they don't have the $50,000. So why don't they have the $50,000? Well, there's 2 reasons here. Either you've picked the wrong ICA, which means your ideal customer avatar. You've been marketing to people who are maybe lower income, but then you think that you're going to charge caviar prices. So you see the disconnect. So you can't sell caviar to people who are, living off a McDonald's paycheck. And that's just a fact. So if you've misaligned who your ideal customer is, then you need to make a choice. Either you lower your prices and you make prices that your audience loves, or you change your audience. You can't have both. You can't be marketing to a McDonald's paycheck person and trying to sell them caviar prices. So they always have to align. All right. Carla talks about pitch slapping. She's never heard that term before. Well, I'm going to say that what I just said, the hidden reason your leads aren't buying, I'm going to call it price slapping. Price slapping, it feels like a slap in the face, because all this time, I don't know, I just thought that you were more affordable, and you're talking always about helping somebody who's struggling in a job. And then you're like, okay, pay me a 100 grand. And it's just so not in line with what you've been leading. You've been nurturing the wrong person, right? Um, so if you want 100 grand for like your product, there's nothing wrong with that. But then you have to be marketing towards doctors, lawyers, CEOs of mid-sized companies with 50 employees or over. All right. And then those people will happily think that's not a big deal because they're making 400, 500, sometimes $1 million a year. Okay. So for them, 100 grand is nothing. But if you're marketing towards people who are like mid-level employees, mid-level managers, younger people who are just starting off in their career, and you're trying to get them to pay 100 grand for your product, that's pretty much what we call scam territory. That's not gonna fly. So that's what I call price slapping them. So what should you do instead? I said a minute ago, you should market towards the people who you know can afford your prices, or you should change your audience, right? So just make sure these two align. And it seems like logical, right? It seems like you should want to have people be able to afford your products at whatever level that is, right? Um, and don't waste your time. If you see a lot of people aren't buying your offers, you have not done the proper research. You don't know what's up, okay? And here's where I have to mention, please don't go around listening to everyone online. You need to double your prices. You need to do this and that. I will say that to you because most times I think people are undercharging, but that doesn't mean that you just smack on a number and like close your eyes. I get my clients to increase their prices all the time because I know this group of people, people value more what they pay for, right? Something that's free, they don't value as much. But the truth is that I know immediately this group is going to like that price. This group is going to like this price. So I just got good at this over the years. All right. So that's a hidden reason people don't buy, because you have price slapped them. And then the fifth reason that people don't buy is that you don't have clear CTAs. Ivy, hold on. Okay. And what I mean by clear CTAs, call to action. I have a whole nother video about call to action. Okay, go get it, honey. It's over there. Okay, wait for me then. Wait for me. So you cannot sell to someone if they don't know what you've got. And what I mean by call to action, so either the call to action is completely missing, and I call my clients out on this all the time. My daughter. When I mean like is I look at their posts and I see, you're not asking anybody to do anything, but yet you're expecting them to somehow reach out to you, which is not going to happen. It happens, but I mean, if you're building a business, what are we doing? Sitting around knitting and waiting for the messages to come in? No, you've got to put out call to actions. So do they always have to be spammy call to action, like buy this or no, they don't. But you have to think about having always different calls to action. Some of them can be paid, some of them can be free. The minimum call to action should be, if you like expertise in finances, video, sales, health, whatever your specialty is, podcasting, live streaming, follow me. And then you put your profile hyperlinked in there. That's a very, very minimum. All right. Another version of the minimum would be sign up for my Saturday newsletter, because I share value about money, marketing, and mindset. So if that's something you're interested in, sign up for my newsletter. You can also do a lead magnet. So you could say, download my free guide. I just sent out one today, how to write 30 posts, 30 posts for you. I mapped everything out and I'm like, here's a guide. If you want it, I've got all the 30-day posts for you to sell better. So, those are call to actions. You're asking them to do something. And they're pretty nice ones. I mean, you're giving them something in exchange. The other call to action would be a free one, but that is a little bit more intimate. So instead of like downloading or signing up, how about inviting them to a free masterclass that you're hosting? If you're not doing free masterclasses, but you are a business owner, there's a problem. You need to be doing some free masterclasses, otherwise known as webinars. These are very important because how am I supposed to get to know you better if I'm just watching you online, So this is like the next level CTA to get people a little bit offline into your world, because in order to get on the masterclass, they have to register. So then they're on your mailing list. They have to come into Zoom, or they have to come into your webinar tool, whatever you're using. So it totally takes the relationship up to a next level. And most people who come to my master classes, even though they're free, they end up working with me because they liked what they heard. They took the time. So it's a win-win for everybody. So my daughter's pulling on this cord. And then the last level is, of course, doing something paid. So you're like, I'm launching this program, the cart is opening. So if you're interested in this opportunity, here's the date that this is happening. And maybe you incentivize them by saying there's a special discount happening, or, so that's the sales offer. You should be doing all these CTAs all the time. You should not be doing one all the time. So you have to vary it up. But I see most people aren't doing any CTAs, or they're doing really weak ones. The ones you should not be doing are DM me, reach out, send me a message, read my about profile, go to my website for more information. I'm like, that just sounds so like 1980s. No. So those are the 5 hidden reasons why people aren't buying, is they don't know about your offers. They don't know that you're having something going on. There's a lot of like things I could talk to you about those offers. I have a whole nother video on CTAs, and I also have a downloadable. If you want the downloadable that teaches you how to write good CTAs, you can just put CTA in the comments here and I will send that to you. But one thing I'll tell you is there's a lot of sneaky ways to do this that are very effective. For example, if you're running a special program, whether it's free or paid, like a free workshop, a big lead magnet that you want people to take action on, or a sales offer, like my academy is starting in September, so that's an offer, right? Put it in your signature, because when I'm like emailing back and forth with you, I will see it. So it's not like you're pitching it to me. It's just part of your signature, right? Especially if you make it a different color. My color is usually hot pink, as you noticed in my Take Back Monday, that color. So, just put like sales workshop on August 8th. And then put a little hyperlink. I like to use Bitly for my trackable links, right? Short links. And that's it. You're not really pitching it, but you're making it obvious. You're letting people know over and over what's happening. And then if someone is interested, they will take action without telling them, hey, do this. So those are some of the reasons why I think people aren't buying from you. And you can sit back and be frustrated, but the truth is, you may just be pitching to the wrong people completely. And that's the saddest part. The saddest part is that there are people out there who need your services, and they probably are going to hire somebody else, and they're going to be hiring someone who does a mediocre job, who doesn't even have anything on you. You're much better than them. But the reason that they're going to hire that other person is because that other person is marketing themselves better. That's another thing that's really important. So in my sales workshop, I talk about money mindset. And I even have a completely separate training about money mindset, because I think that we have to get over this feeling of sleaze. Like, why would you be scared to sell to me if you know that the service is so valuable? So, and remember, it's only if they need it or not, right? I'm not ever going to, that's another thing. I just gave my sales workshop yesterday, and I'm going to repeat to you guys one thing I said during the sales workshop. I never chase people. So if someone approached me and said, they signed up for the workshop, or they approached me and said, I'm interested in coaching, I always check my emails and my messages. So I'm really on top of my communication, right? A+ for communication in my book is very important. So I always answer, thank you so much for your interest. Here's all the information. Please reach out if you're ready to take action, or if you'd like to know more, we can book a call or whatever happened, right? But I never push people. I do one follow-up, and I just call it a check-in. I'm just like, I'm checking in. Last time we talked, you said you were interested in sales workshop, coaching, whatever, health provider. Is that still the case? Or in the meantime, have you found a different solution? Right? So you open it elegantly. I hate pushing my services on someone like, you need my sales workshop. You need my services. I'm the best coach. That is such a turnoff for most people, right? Open up and never be aggressive. Do this smoothly, guys. And think about it. Sales is just value. We're just exchanging money for value. And that value can change someone's entire life, because all of you are providers helping with wealth, health, or relationships. All right. The triangle. That's what I always talk about, this triangle of the three big ones. And I know your services maybe even can help with multiple, right? Because there's a domino effect, right? Hmm?
I want to sleep in the car. You got 1 minute every night, 10, 11.
My daughter's so funny. So if anyone has any questions, let me know. But I see some people who want the CTA document. I see Carla is asking me if I work with many health brokers. So I wouldn't say brokers, but I've worked with many people selling health services, because like I just mentioned, there's only 3 things that we all are doing. And a lot of times they're connected. So, and she says, our numbers are always the same. What makes them take your proposal and give them, yeah, we can talk about that, Carla, because there's definitely going to be nuances in different situations, right? Your sales approach has to be tailored to your type of work. It has to be tailored to how your audience likes being sold to. So there is never, if a coach ever tells you, I've got a sales method, it's an out of the box sales method that will work on anybody, I would run, because I do think that we are constantly learning better techniques, like how to present your services, how to transition the conversation into more of a value buying mode, to talk about I have a whole strategy for those kind of things. But I definitely think that there is no one size fits all. There should not be, right? There should not be. But I definitely would never, ever teach you anything that makes you or your customer or lead feel uncomfortable. because people will always remember how you made them feel. And what do you guys think is the biggest turnoff, right? Is when I felt like I was being sold to. But at the same time, if I see that you're chatting with me and you're chatting with me, but you're not pitch slapping, I get suspicious as well. I'm like, I wonder what they're doing. Are they, if it's a man, I might think they're flirting. Like, why do they keep like, what's going on here? They want something, right? Because we're here to do business. So it's better to just talk right up front, and, ask a person about their needs. Never impose it on them. Never say, um, have you ever considered buying health insurance? I mean, come on, I'm 45 years old. Are you honestly even remotely thinking I'm that stupid that I don't have a health insurance provider or a 401k? Or I get these really weird DMs like, have you ever considered, or can we talk about your financial needs? I'm like, you didn't even ask me. So you have to have permission first before you enter the conversations. And here now I'm going off into almost my sales workshop spiel. So I'm going to stop. But definitely, if people are buying from you, please look at your tactics carefully under the magnifying glass. Don't feel bad. First, don't feel like, oh, I must not be a good person, or feel sad. Trust me, it is not you. It is not you. Selling to people is a whole game, right? It's something that we're not born knowing how to do. And especially doing it in a value-driven way, not like all these scammy tactics that people are use, that I would teach. And I think that's the reason. But once you know how to do it, here's the goal. The goal is that you have this perfect customer who knows exactly that they need this, and you've got the perfect pricing offers that they can work with you, right? And then it's a win-win. Everyone's happy, right? But if you're selling to the wrong people, or you have not got the right offers that they are interested in, or you've not priced it in their category, not your own fantasy world, but their category, what they can afford, it's not going to be aligned. And then they're going to go, right? And same thing if you're not telling them what you offer and being really clear about it. Because people shouldn't have to ask you. You should be so proud of what you do, and proud of how you help people, that you're very happy to talk about your profession all day long. You know, and so those are some of the reasons why people may not be buying. If you guys have any questions, please DM me on LinkedIn. And also, I'd like to ask you a favor, is if you're not already, would you please subscribe to my YouTube channel? I'm trying to grow my YouTube channel, and it would really mean a lot to me. Post weekly 2 videos right now, and that could change. Right now I'm doing a live stream at the beginning of the week, usually on Mondays, and that's an interview with a business owner who can provide advice for other business owners. Last Monday, I had a really nice YouTuber. I've had LinkedIn coaches, personal branding coaches, video coaches. I love having guests. So that's what you would get. And then on Thursdays, I do these, which is always about a topic that I have heard firsthand that my customers are struggling with. So all of the Thursday talks are based on questions people ask me in one-on-one sessions, in discovery calls, in email. And I have a whole list. I'll never, ever run out of content. So I could do these literally every day and I would still be good. But that's what you get. So if those are things that interest you, everything entrepreneurship, everything sales, money, marketing. I talk about LinkedIn a lot because that's where B2B is. Then come back and hang out with me. I love seeing you guys in the live stream. And if you sign up, subscribe via YouTube, then you'll get notified and you will see an entire playlist where I post my upcoming lives. In the summer, I'm kind of low key. I think I have less than usual, but usually you'll see all 4 weeks out in advance. So thank you for coming, guys. I'm going to let you guys go off to the rest of your day. Now go out there and make some money. Make sure you've got the right leads. And there's one last resource I'll give you, and that is the Ideal Customer Quiz. And it is here, my friends.
I'm hungry.
Tell me that this is right. Tell me that this is right. Okay. Ideal Client Quiz. So if your leads aren't buying, like I said, it's probably not you. It's probably that you think that you've got the right customer, but you don't. This isn't the right one. In fact, I'm going to link to another video that I call the niche of the niche, where I talk a lot about that. So you can't just say I serve entrepreneurs or I serve, business managers or something. You have to go deeper than that. So a good place to start is what I just posted, this Ideal Client Quiz, which will just test you to see if you really have defined that customer the right way, because that could be costing you sales. It's quite simply you're not targeting the right people. All right. And I could continue talking for a long time, so I'm going to wrap it up. But I do appreciate you guys stopping by. And if you're just getting here at the end, please watch the replay if this is interesting to you. If you want to know why people aren't buying from you, the 5 reasons that I gave right now are actually very common. And I don't know why more people aren't talking about these, because I see them all the time. So if you fix those, then woof, you'll know that your sales are going up. And if you don't fix them, you have to go back and check where, like a doctor, right? You look at your symptoms and then you go back and you check what could be the problem. And this is something I do as a business coach with clients who come to me. And we go back and we look, is their content a problem? Is their personal brand a problem? Are their offers the problem? Is the pricing the problem? And we keep looking, and believe me, after doing this for so many years, I find what's the problem pretty quickly. But the problem is we're blind to our own problems. I need a business coach. I need a second pair of eyes. So it has nothing to do with intelligence, my friends. It's all about how we're just kind of in it too deep. So by nature, we're biased and we just aren't seeing things. So you need someone who can show you the 360-degree view. Also, it's really good to ask people who don't know you very well, because I think that if you say, well, I'm just going to ask my husband, your husband is going to always tell you that everything looks lovely. All right. Because your husband is scared to death to say anything critical. 9 out of 10 times. Okay. There are some husbands that aren't that afraid, but most husbands will just say, honey, that looks lovely. And that's it, because they don't want to get in trouble. Same thing for your friends. They just know you too well. So your leads don't know anything about you. So you need to talk to people who don't know you, who are going to tell you the truth. And they're going to say, I went to your website. It's very confusing. I didn't understand. I couldn't even find the offer. Then I clicked on something and it was a broken link. And it's really true that these are all problems that you stare at your page all day long, right? You stare at your profile, stare at your website. You're going to be blind to the things that are right in front of you, because how many times can we read it and look at it. And there's always room for improvement. We are a work in progress. So next week, I'm going to be doing a live about perfectionism. And so that ties into that is you can't be perfect. You have to accept that you're going to always have things to fix, but it is good to have other people looking at your stuff because they're going to catch things that you don't see, and tell you how it feels. How does it feel? Would you buy from you, and why? And what do people say about you when you're not in the room? If I wanted to recommend to buy something from you, imagine that I'm trying to describe, you should hire Krista because she's the lady who does business coaching. And what's really cool about her is that she has an academy where she teaches automation so that you can automate your income. So you're not just stuck going client to client, one-on-one coaching to one-on-one coaching, never quite making the money you want, or never being able to take yourself out of the business. I have a lot of one-on-one coaches who make really good money, but they are just tired. They're like, I need something else. I need to spend more time with my kids or my spouse or on my own stuff. So that's my specialty. And so what is your specialty, right? How do you differentiate yourself from 99 million other people doing similar work that you do, right? That's what you need to figure out. What do people say about you behind your back? All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up really for real. So come to the one next week where I talk about perfectionism. A few people in the chat wanted to get my CTA document. So I'll give that to you. If you want me to do another video about sales positioning, that was one of the mistakes. Mistake number 2 is not positioning yourself very well. And that's why people get confused and don't buy. Remember, confused customers don't buy. And think about how your sales experiences have been. If you go to someone's website and you're overwhelmed, which is, by the way, I'm guilty of this and I'm trying to fix it right now. My website is a junkyard. And I'm lucky because I sell a lot one-to-one, so a lot of relationship selling. But people are saying you have a lot of stuff on your website, and I am guilty. So think about that. I'm blind to that. I need a coach to tell me that. I need somebody else to tell me that, because myself, it's so hard. I'm just like, well, I have a lot of great offers. And another person is like, you have too many great offers. I don't know what I need, right? So think about that. Are you making the same mistake as me? And how is that costing you sales? Because remember, people are a little bit timid to reach out. I hate when someone says, well, just reach out to me. I mean, I need some credibility first. I need to see some compelling reason to reach out first. So that's a big problem. All right, guys, have a good one, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.